How's it going, everybody? It's Palke. I'm here with another Graveyard Shenanigans deck, and today we're going to be playing Living End. Living End, if you don't know what it does, it is a sorcery that you can only suspend for 3 turns for 4 mana. It basically it board wipes the board and takes everything from the graveyards that were there before the wipe and puts them on the battlefield. Kind of just exchanges battlefields for graveyards for both sides, but it's a little slow. 4 mana to wait 3 more turns. In Historic, your game's gonna be over by the time this hits when you play it fairly, so we're running all sorts of ways to cheat Living End out early through casting it for its mana cost, which is 0, because if you don't know, Living End and other suspend cards that don't have a mana cost in the top right corner, their mana value equals 0. So you can cast it for free with things like Electro Dominance, where normally this deals X damage and then you cast a spell. It's not the greatest card. I like it, but works really well with suspend cards. We're also running As Foretold. And just in case we mill it into the graveyard or we have to cast it a second time in the same turn, we're running Finale of Promise. So these are the ways to cheat Living End, put our whole graveyard onto the battlefield. A lot of Living End decks, they're just cycle in Living End, board wipe your opponent, put a couple creatures on the battlefield, and then you're ahead of the curve. We're not going for the same idea here. We're running elementals. And our best card here, Champion of the Path. When another elemental enters the battlefield, it deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. So we have things like Skizix in here. We have air elementals. We're not going to be casting these cards for 4 or 5 mana typically, but when they hit the battlefield, it champions on the battlefield at the same time. They just hit our opponent directly. We also have Risen Reef. Doesn't do much damage, but it's a good value engine, and it really pops off if you get these with Living End, which you'll see when we get in the games. Other than that, we have Spelunking, just a little bit of value. We have one of Bloodbraid Marauder to cascade into our Living End if we need to. Blue, red, black, green is our color identity, but we have no black spells, so mana base is just Temur. Lots of ways to fetch for shuffling our library, and then we need ways to fill the graveyard. So we have things like Taigam Scheming, Surveil 5. We have Cathartic Reunion to get cards out of our hand into the graveyard if we need to. And a couple of draw engines that also allow us to discard. Just ways to make sure what we need in the graveyard is there. Also Mesmeric Orb, just to tilt people mostly. And we're also running 3 of this guy because he's an elemental, but he also helps curve out if we need our green lands for Risen Reef or Spelunking. Usually we'll just play him as a land, but if we mill him, that's one more thing to hit with Living End, and that is Temur Living End. And let's see if we can one-shot some people. Alright. Going into a match. Well, again, we're playing Living End in Historic. Seeing if we can teach some people what Scape Shift but with creatures looks like. Now, if you know me, you know I love my graveyard shenanigans. It is probably my favorite way to play Magic. Use your graveyard as a second hand of sorts. Just get a lot of value out of graveyard recursion cards. This hand is sketchy. We don't have any red mana or green mana. Both of our lands are tap lands. We do have a draw and a graveyard fuel. Surveil also lets us kind of pick what we're going to draw for the next couple turns, so we could risk it. If the top 5 cards have a green mana, then we have Resin Reef on board. On turn 3, maybe turn 4, if it's a tap land. If it's a red, we can Cathartic Reunion, and then we have to gamble that we find not only a living end, but also a way to cast it. Just too risky. We co-play it, but we'll mulligan. That's a much better hand. Only 2 lands, which is risky, and we don't have a way to get these 2 guys out into the graveyard just yet, but we do have Living End and an Electro Dominance, and that's really all we need, because with this we'll be able to at least neutralize, blow up the board if we need to. So yeah, we'll keep that. We're gonna put, I think it's better we put Risen Reef, because we're gonna need to get a second red with Seething Landscape. So Risen Reef just feels slow. We're gonna end up shuffling him back in with the Seething Landscape anyways, and we'll run it like that. Here goes, huh? Temple of Silence. Sure, let's go ahead and fetch one of our couple of mountains. Scribe to the top. Here's a blue. Blue source is fine. We're not doing anything else, so may as well get that down just in case we draw a Chart a Course or a Radical Idea. Risen Reef, welcome back. Not the best place for that to be, but we have everything we need for Living End. Now we just hold this up. Our opponent might think we're control. Nothing they're doing currently matters. They're gonna try and build up their board. So we're gonna let them probably go 2 more turns building their board before we blow it all up. That is gonna be a big hit. This guy, he can get out of here. We might even Living End now, because we have Finale of Promise. We can cast it from the graveyard. Oh, that's just, it's not good, folks. It's just not good. Let's see what we got coming. Another Living End. That's not great. Yeah, to the bottom. I think we risk it. We'll risk it. Let them go 1 more turn. See what they pull. Twin Blade Paladin. He's got double strike. Gonna take 6 here. 7? 7. Well, we definitely need to Living End this turn. See, one problem is Electro Dominance is currently a little bugged with Living End. If you try to cast it for 0, it won't let you use your Living End. Like, if I go confirm 0, it won't actually let me cast my Living End, so we can't Radical Idea off of what we currently have on the board. So instead, we need to pay 1. Sure, hit our opponent's face. Cast the Living End to wipe the board. Now we're in a better position. So we could Risen Reef, hope to hit a land. I think it's better that we chart a course that's two cards we get to look at. And it puts the champion in the graveyard, which is kind of what we need. Mesmeric Orb. So now we have champion in the graveyard. So we need to be careful. We have one living end left with Finale of Promise. We can Radical Idea one more time. Actually, two more times technically. But we would need a blue source. Which that is not. I think we're safe to let our opponent hit us one more time. That is also not a blue source. Alright, are we dead? Draws a card. 7 mana, what do they got? 2 to us. They're still not dead. A little bit of a punt. We wanted to stop on our end step there. That's okay. So I think we Radical Idea first. Get rid of the Skizzic. To the graveyard. The worry here is Living End is going to give them back all their creatures too. But there's not a whole lot that we can do about that. We have all these Risen Reefs in hand. I think we just have to continue risking it. We'll play a blocker. This will at least give us one more blocker when we Living End next turn. Assuming our opponent doesn't just kill us here. Okay, yeah, we definitely can't kill the opponent. Now we're down to 3. It is so sketchy, but I think we're gonna keep being risky with it. Unless we get some really good hits here. And we didn't get anything that would resemble a good hit here. Yeah, keep risking it. Play a Risen Reef. That's a charter course that we can't cast. Opponent mills. We're gonna pause on their end step. Get one additional card milled if we survive this turn. As long as they can't buff Sanguine Siphoner. They're down to 1 card. Does it kill us? Oh. Down to 1? Okay. We gotta get some good hits off Mesmeric Orb here. There's an air elemental, and that's game. Whew. Sketchy. So we're gonna first chart a course. let's draw 2. We can put one more Risen Reef in the graveyard. Perfect. Alright, and now, Finale of Promise. We pay 0. Target an instant card. Nothing here costs 0. But we do have some living ends. So, let's target it. And living end round 2. Alright. Nice board, opponent. We get a few triggers. They're gonna get a lot of life. But I haven't done the math. I think we have enough here to kill them, because every elemental here that entered gets seen by its counterparts. So each of these guys, this champion's gonna do 7, 14, 15, 16, that's 21, 22, 23, and each champion will do 23. Also, because of these Risen Reefs, we're gonna draw a bunch of cards, play a bunch of lands, and as you can see, with all these lands, if we had our Spelunking on the battlefield, we could just do another living end after this turn and have all the mana in the world to follow it up with. Alright, opponent. Master blockers. But we got a few extra triggers remaining, but that's that. I love this deck. Oh man, it's super risky. But yeah, that's our living end deck. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.